Hi and welcome, and in this video we are going to be looking at the submission process, how to manage your files and folders to keep them more organized, and to essentially get you prepared ready for the impending deadline on Monday evening. So where do we begin? As you can see here in my Google Drive, I have created an example submission folder. So if you will, you should be imagining that this is your folder that says year 1 animation or something along those lines that identifies that as being all of your work, okay? Because you should definitely separate your work and your college work from your own work. Obviously keeps it more organized, allows you to find what you need to find more efficiently. So going inside, what we're going to do is just quickly discuss the layout. So as you can see, I've got each of the 3 phases for the first year, and obviously in the second year we'll continue at phase 4, 5 and 6. So you may want to do it through phase, you may want to do it by project, like the assessments, but obviously that can get a bit confusing as they sort of, each unit blurs over, each phase blurs over. So I recommend that you do the 3 phases, and obviously within phase 1 we have our 5 lessons, not 3. We have our 3 practical sessions and we have our 2 theoretical sessions. Now the key to this is to keep your work organized, is to keep it separated, because when you come to submit you need to be able to locate your work as and when you need it. So we can imagine that inside these folders is all your work for each particular project. So let's start with a brief. So with the brief, as you can see, we've got assessment 1, we've got our deadline, which is next Monday, and you can see here we have 4 things. Okay, the first thing is an industry models and professional development report. Okay, so within this report you should cover all of these sections here. All of these sections you've been working with Tammy or Phil, and essentially these will form one single report, as you can see here, collated into one single report. This is really important because you're going to be assessed on your ability to create a report, and if it's not in a report you will not be meeting the learning outcome. Secondly, a research report. So again, this is another document, but essentially all of the work you've been doing with me, Adam or June or Steve or Phil. So yeah, there's been 4 of us working on this part of the project now, and all of these should be collated into a single report. If you've been completing the activities that have been set for my session, you should be easily able to transform that and complete that into a report covering all of those sections. We'll also need to see your blog. Okay, so you should have been conducting at least a weekly post, minimum, absolute minimum, okay, reflecting on the work conducted during lessons. This shouldn't just be an upload of the digital files within your Google Drive, as I spoke to both groups about last week, but what this should be is a continued professional approach to the subject of animation, where you can post videos of things that you like, where you can post animations, artists, any kind of work, any illustrations that you've seen that you like. So you should be including that all on your blogs, because that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see you're interested in. And you know, we don't just want it to be the work that you bring up, we also want to see what you are about as a person and what your interests are and where they lie, and how animation is not just feeding you through the practical work we're delivering, but also it starts to communicate your passion. Okay, that's going to be really important when you get to those second year interviews for university, which we want you all to go on to, because that means that you are able to really show people the things you're talking about when you refer to it back in dialogue. Okay, so please make sure you are engaging with these blogs with more than just uploading what work you've done here, because that's just boring. Okay, thirdly, fourthly, finally even, we want your sketchbook. Okay, so this may be a bit conflicting with your drawing class, but can I ask that you please get some paper? We'll probably supply some paper for that drawing class on the evening. Can you just please make sure that you have you've handed your sketchbook in, because we really want to be able to see that you are using um, your research techniques, your primary research techniques, which will fall under this category here. Okay, so back to our Google Drive. Now this file here will be available on Moodle, and it is this sheet here. Okay, so this is your submission sheet. Now this submission sheet you will upload with your two reports, and it will go into the Moodle Dropbox, as I'll show you shortly. So we're just going to quickly go through the checklist. We've got your name, the deadline, the group. This helps the external verifier. If they come in and download the file, they can sort of see who you are and what you're about. The first thing we want you to submit is your blog link. Okay, we really want you to copy the address, URL, not your account login. Okay, I'm going to show you this and exactly what I mean right now. So here I'm on my WordPress. Yeah, everything looks cool, everything's looking fine. This is just someone who I follow. I can see their work there. Yeah, to get to my site, you know, we click on this left hand side here where it says my site, and what will happen is this changes. Okay, if you read along the top, it says wordpress.com stats insights adamraweaver.wordpress.com. This is not your URL. Okay, I've seen people in the past submit this. This is not your URL. I can't access your blog through copying this to me. This asks me to log into your account, which means I can't mark or see anything you've done on your blog. Okay, what you need to do is go to this box here, and you'll see underneath there that we have adamraweaver@wordpress.com. If I hold down my right mouse button and click it, we can go straight to it. Once that loads, you'll be able to see the actual URL is here, so we can take that and we can Control C, and we can go back to our sheet and we can Control V. I now have a link to my site. Push enter, it will create a workable link. So secondly, we have our Google Drive. Okay, so with our Google Drive link, we want to be able to access your folders. Okay, so to do that, we go to our drive and we go to our parent folder, and we can right click here and we can go to share. It's the icon with a little man and a plus sign on its head. We can go share. This will bring up a new window. Okay, and within this you can share with whoever you like. As you can see here, I've already got it shared with June. And let me just go back. I've clicked something now. We don't want to do that. If I'll just go back, and you can see here we've got get shareable link. Okay, so if we click this little icon here, you'll see we get this link, and it says I can view, and we want to view. We don't want to edit your work. If you want us to leave comments, then you may want to change this to edit. Okay, but essentially you can click this. We can right click, go to copy or go to, and we can go back to our window and we can paste and push enter, and now we have a workable link. Okay, which will go to my Google Drive. So first things first, our first two things are there. That's what we need, because this is going to give us the staff members, the assessors, the ability to go to your work. So these two reports now, as you can see here, I've put down creating Google Drive using the app Google Docs. You can do this or do it in Microsoft Word. I recommend doing it in Google Docs, because if anything goes wrong, it will save automatically. Okay, everything you do on Google Docs, providing you have an internet connection, will save automatically, which means you are less likely to corrupt, lose your work, lose it, do something silly with it, or anything like that. Okay, so collate your report, create your report in Google Docs. So to do that, let's get rid of this. We just click done. We can go to new. Okay, so if we're in our folder, let's say we're in, and we're going to phase 1, and we want to collate our PPD report, we can go in, we can go to new, we can go to Google Docs, and it will create a new file in this folder. So it's opening now within my browser Chrome, so make sure you're using Chrome to get this app to work. And you can see I'm inside here. We should have a new file, but there's nothing there at the moment. That is not good. So if I rename this, and we'll call this example report, and hopefully, is it going to save that? Let's go out, let's go back in. There we go. Okay, example report, and essentially we can type, and every time we do something, okay, it will save. Okay, it will save every time. So you can see this little icon here, it saves automatically. Every time I do something, it will save it automatically. Okay, this is great because it means that we can't lose anything because it's saving it straight away. So if there's a power cut, if your battery dies, if there's an emergency, your work will not be lost. Okay, so now what we need to do, okay, so that's Google Docs, that's setting it up. You can copy and paste anything into that. Okay, now what we actually need to do here is to right click the file and download. Now what will happen is this by default will download it as a Microsoft Word document. Okay, Word and Google Docs, you can pretty much copy and paste things into anything. It works really well together. So to do that, we can click on our file, we can go to download, and it will say down here convert into Word, and as you can see we've opened up an example document report. This is exactly what we want. Okay, and this Word document is what you need to upload to Moodle. Okay, it must be a Word document. Okay, so I'm going to put on here it must be a Word document. Okay, because we are going to put this through a program called Turnitin, which is going to check all of your references. Okay, so with your research report, we go in Google Docs again, and we can right click and download it and save it as a Word document. Okay, in here you can add any comments in. If you want to inform us about anything or any issues or anything else, you can put that in there. Finally, your sketchbook. This must be handed in to your tutor at the end of your lesson on Monday. So that's either Tammy or Steve. Okay, you can hand it in at 5 o'clock in their lessons. If you would like to submit early, okay, so those of you that are ahead, if you've had enough carrying it around, if you just want to get rid of it first thing Monday morning, then this can be done through the administrators at floor 5, Bay F. Most of you have been to the 5th floor office. As you walk in, you turn right. On the right hand side, you've got 2 little interview glass rooms. Just past that, you will see a little desk with 2 lovely ladies, Mandy and Hazel. They will take your submission, your sketchbook. They will get you to sign a slip. It will be left there for me, Steve and Tammy to come and collect. Okay? Remember, if there are any issues with your submission, you must tell me by this Friday, not any time over the weekend, because I will not be available. You certainly will not be offered an extension if you decide Monday that you need one. You must tell us before Friday. Okay, so we spoke about the submission sheet, which will be available on Moodle in this week's PPD and RPT folder, and next week's as well. You will need to obviously make sure your Google Drive is laid out nicely and is really accessible for all of us. That's really important that you have that managed and organised in a good professional way. And finally, we need to think about the Moodle upload. So in your browser, you can load up your part of the course. You will see as we go down, brief 1, under brief 1 is assessment 1. We have deadline Monday the 19th of October 23:55. Okay, that is when the Dropbox will close. Okay, so can we make sure that we are submitting in time? You must upload submission sheet 1, which is what we've just been looking at, your industry models and professional development report, which is a Word document, and your research report, which is a Word document. If we click assessment 1, it will take you to the submissions page. Okay, you can see down here we've got part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 will be your submission sheet, part 2 will be your industry report, part 3 will be your research report. Okay, you can click this little icon here and it will allow you to upload a document. Okay, so here this is where I'm going to set the hand-in times, as you can see. So 55. I recommend you do not wait till this time to upload your work, because everyone will try and do it, will try and crash. Okay, and it will be painful. So I'm going to click submit. Okay, and yep, so that should be sent now. Okay, so to submit your paper, we can go down to here. You can select your name. Okay, and if anybody selects anything that is not them, or is to try and deface somebody else's submission, obviously college policy will apply to that. So I'm expecting absolute maturity from all of you with regards to this. This is people's futures and careers and qualifications that you will be impacting, and it's completely unfair to those people to be doing any kind of thing that will destruct that process. So can we please make sure we are being professional? You can go to browse, select your file. So if you find your Word document, you'll be able to go into there, click open. Okay, it will load up there. You can add that to submission. Okay, you go to submission inbox, and obviously I'm on a professional view, so this will probably be different for me. But as you can see here, it's coming up with the different submissions. So hopefully, if we bring that up, okay. So you may see some of your teachers being put on there, so ignore those. I think that's just sort of a default setting that happens. And what we would like you to do is to just go through, make sure everything's selected. So once you've submitted, I think there'll be an option to final submit. I can't see that as I'm a tutor with different access rights than you. So you need to be definitely keeping on track, okay, and making sure that that's submitted. We can sit down in the class and make sure that that's been done. So that's where you submit. Obviously, if anyone's having any issues, then you need to see me before Friday. Okay, I'll be in the office till 4:30, but we have meetings late on a Friday, so my availability is subject to those meetings. So email again by 4:30. If it's any later than 4:30, I will not receive it. It will not count as getting in contact with me. Other than that, good luck. I'm looking forward to seeing all of your work. I've seen some great development over the past 5 or 6 weeks, and you're all doing really well. And yeah, I can't wait to see what you've got produced. So until then, I will see you tomorrow, believe it or not.